Okay. All right. So we are going to go ahead and do our little tutorial here. I have the very beginnings of the background of Tag Along Angel. So you see the angel figure over here in the front, and then three wise guys in the back. We have the three wise men in the back. So they're kind of tagging along, right? So on the other side of this particular art journal page, so this would be one page of the art journal, and then on the other side of the art journal, there's a coordinating page which has like a Christmas donkey, and it also has like a Star of Bethlehem over there. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully my screen is not moving. I have my grid on the table to see if it's moving too much. I can kind of watch a little bit. So hopefully you can see. All right, so let's talk about this for just a minute. Okay, first of all, if you are a Folio by Design subscriber, you already have this template, and it came to you as one of your Folio features in the December issue of Inspired to Shine, Folio by Designs, Inspired to Shine. I'm going to go ahead and kind of walk you through the supplies that I use for this. Now, I do my folio currently on 11 by 14 because it's easier for me to create in a larger size. You can scale these sizes up or down pretty well with using that practiced step of learning how to use a gridded system, and you can certainly do that, or you can even turn your line art into a scalable vector, and you can scale it to whatever size you want. But for all purposes, I tend to use a heavy body paper. I love using 140-pound weight watercolor paper because it's durable. It really stands out to my abuse, and I can use just about any type of medium that I like to use. Okay, so I like to use a lot of the time I like to use marker, and for this one I worked out of this box to create this. Okay, so what's inside this box, and some of the things I didn't use at all, but I used to trying to say in my limited color palette here, I used the dark blue, this lighter blue. I use this lighter blue, even though it's not exact. I used this purple. I used black. Okay. And I even used, a little bit of this orange. Okay. So that's all I used on here. There is a hair in my box. And I use a permanent marker. So you can tell that I totally splurge on my permanent markers, and I get them from Walmart for like about $1. So that's pretty much what I use. So, and you're going, but what? Wait a minute, Char. I don't think that I've ever seen markers do this. Well, if you've been with me for a while, then you already know that I sometimes don't let markers just be markers, and I will get out my Aquaflow pen, which I just keep water in, and I just meld all of the colors together. So I do a lot of scribble scrabble. You probably can't see, but I did like a lot of scribble scrabble. I did the outline through. I filled in the little areas with like blue and black. I ran all those colors together. I did the background in blues and purples and yellows and or orange, and just kind of let this kind of have like this aurora borealis kind of feel to it. And then down below, I went with the black. I used a brown, actually, which is not in here. I used black, I used brown, and the purple and the orange. Actually, I didn't use brown. I used purple and orange to kind of create the brown look. Okay, so I let this dry overnight. Now you may be the impatient type of chick and you want to speed things up. If you're doing this method with the markers and letting all the stuff kind of flow together and create like these awesome blooms, that's what this is right here. These awesome blooms and how the water is very reactive with the marker. Listen, if you're impatient, this may not be your thing, okay? Because drying this fast, you're not going to have as many natural and organic looking blooms in your artwork. Like you get some really cool blooms through here. But I mean, you can still use a hairdryer or a heat gun, or even set it in front of, I keep a heater in my room throughout the year. One, it helps to dry things, and because I have a low setting on the heater, it's like like one of those little convection style heaters that you have, like a little floor heater, and you can set this in front of your heater, flat. I would say flat, because otherwise all the stuff would just drip because it's super, super wet. Or you can set it, if you're in the summer, you can maybe set it outside. If it's a nice dry day, set it outside and let it speed dry out there. But really and truly, I'm just going to say really and truly, the better way is just to kind of do your background work, walk away from it, come back to it, and then apply your other pieces to the puzzle. Okay, so the other pieces of the puzzle, I can still use some of these right on top of the dry to kind of enhance some of the little color flavor. But I like to work out of this box next, because these are where I really get like all the fun doodles and design elements that I'm going to show you. Now, little talk about doodles and design elements. Everybody has their own wicked style, right? So what does that mean? You can use like the little doodle prompts that we have in the group. You can use the different doodle prompts that I have given you in your trend boards and over the past seasons of Folio by Design. Or you can, use any doodle prompt that you want. It could even be tangles that you happen to like. But everybody has kind of their own unique style of doodling. I tend to do a lot of dashes and dots and swirls, some fun scribble flowers. I like to use paisleys. It just kind of really depends on the mood that I'm in. But before I get to doodling, I like to kind of pull out any type of intuitive art that I might see in the actual background. So if there's something that's really becoming prominent, you know how like whenever you look out at a cloud, you look out like a big sky of clouds, and you can like play with the clouds, and you can see like different designs and different things in the actual textures of the clouds, right? You might be able to see like there's an alligator, or we often, for some reason or another, we'll see angels, or we'll see different hearts, or there's like a cow or whatever. So you can do the same thing using your blooms, using your the collision of color and the blooms, and all of the way that these things collide together. They can create some interesting patterns that you might perceive with your mind's eye something, okay? And you might see something that I don't see, and I might see something that you don't see. And a lot of times with intuitive art, and especially with doing, creative devotional style art, where you do it in a freestyle way, like what I'm talking about here today. We're just going to touch on this for background use. You can pull out a lot of really cool things from your art. Now let's talk about this one. You can also pull out some really cool things out of your mind. Sometimes there's some stuff that's stuck in your mind, that's maybe you're thinking about, you're dwelling upon, things that are completely undiscovered, and I'm not trying to get all woo woo here, but sometimes this practice right here can, on a surface level, can actually pull out some things from, your precognitive mind or your subconscious mind that has been kind of keeping you held captive to something. Sometimes it can be a new idea that Holy Spirit might even be talking to you about, right? That is being confirmed being confirmed with you. This is not necessarily, listen, let's be like real clear real quick, okay? This is not a crystal ball. This is not a fortune telling thing. This is not a piece of sorcery. But this act of doing journaling and creative journaling in this way can give you a time that's pressure free to actually sit down with the Lord and Holy Spirit and actually work through some crap that's been holding you back and holding you captive. So this is not like hocus pocus. This is about like getting tuned in. This is not transcendental. I mean, some people call this like a transcendental art or transcendental meditation and whatever. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about here, but this practice right here is for you to relax and get into a state and into your mental place where you can stop the sharks from swimming. Okay, like sometimes, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, like whenever I'm saying stop the sharks from swimming around and around and around and around and around, and you just feel like you're being fed upon, you feel like you're being preyed upon, this is a time to like let all that stuff just kind of calm down. Now, I found this way of working through my art very therapeutic. Okay, but you can't listen. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, you can't just like let this be your only. I mean, you could. I probably shouldn't tell you what to do, but I feel that I'm here to set people free from the noise and frustrations of like life happenings and chaos and whatever. Don't let that stuff, like, don't let this just be your self-medication. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you that would be kind of like this is like triage, like if you don't know what triage is, it's like it's being able to have like some first response, first aid to like where you're hurting, and then work through that and decide, okay, is a bandage good enough to like let this heal? Am I in a place right now where I can just like work through this by myself, or do I need to get a little bit smarter about this and maybe talk to a professional, like talk to my my spiritual counselor, my pastor? Do I need to maybe work through this with a mental health professional? Is this something that I need more aid with than just using my art as a tool to unlock some things, that have been either deep or on the surface that I just kind of need to be a grown up about and kind of handle? Or do I need some professional help? I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there that while creative journaling, especially during a time when you are healing or you are recognizing that you have some rehab, you have some issues that you need to really rehab or put into recovery, then this is a great tool for that. But it's also a great tool for spiritual discovery. And it's also really and truly, let's call a spade a spade. It's also a really good way of creating some really cool art without, all of the psycho jargon that's going on with it. So however it is that you use this time of creative journaling, I really hope that you understand that, if you are getting into the intuitive side of creative journaling, you can let that be a way to develop your art. It can also be a way to develop the person that you are. And it can also be a way to heal through your art, as well as it could be a way of like unlocking some of that stuff that's been stuck, like, and loosening it up, and getting it out. This is certainly a good way to get meditative with our master creator. But just remember, you do not have to do this stuff alone. Like if stuff comes up and you start dropping some tears on your art, and it gets too tough, you need to talk to somebody about that. So, but this is a wonderful way of also, like there's a story going on here, the story of the nativity. These guys were, took a long journey. It took them a long time. It is historical that they didn't just show up on the day of Jesus's birth. They journeyed to get to, the new prophet and teacher that was being born in Bethlehem. And no, they were not kings. But this is also a good way of studying scripture. You can maybe even write some of the scripture of that you find in Luke about the nativity in here. You can write some of the scriptures that you want to create to memory, commit to memory, that is. But anyway, so I just wanted to kind of touch on some intuitive art before we go forward, because this is one of our first pieces that we're putting into our creative club. And so before we get too far off into the distant future of talking about creative journaling and how you can also use some of the little things that show up. Clearly I need to get a new one. How you can use some of the different things that show up and like pull those out and maybe make different shapes. Like this right here, I mean, over here I was seeing like a little puppy dog, but I don't think that I don't think puppy dog is what I want in this composition. I mean, you might see some things in there that are really just not very relative to what it is that you're creating here. I think I'm just going to go with some simple shapes that I see. Sometimes that's all I do, and it just adds like some really cool interest to my backgrounds and just gives it a lot more texture to play with. And so I may just kind of work in like there's like these little holes and these little gaps of color, and I'll just accentuate that and really exaggerate some of the different things. Like there's like this really cool wiggle waggle that's happening from where some of the paint didn't all blend together, and so it has like this really cool meridian. So I like to just play and get maybe sometimes just go around the color, and this adds just something that's not as normal as what somebody else might do, right? Not that I'm trying to compete with anyone else, but this has been a way that sets my art apart from other people. And they may do this, these little doodles also in their background, but their doodles may look totally different. And because this is a one of a kind, this is very unique. You're almost never ever, I don't like to say never, because my goodness, I mean, God does whatever God wants, right? But you will probably never get the same shapes out of the artwork whenever you just do backgrounds like this, where you just let all the colors just kind of run together. You can try, you can force out different designs. You can certainly do that, but the uniqueness is just so desirable. So I can see like this color of blue is different than this color of blue, because this blue over here has just like a little bit more purple. So you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm just loosely going through with my uni ball, and I'm just accentuating some of the little aurora borealis like clouds that are happening in my art now. But if I wanted to sit here and just like pull out different designs and stuff, like this right here kind of reminded me of an owl. So if I didn't have all this going on down here and I was just starting from scratch and didn't have an idea, maybe I might have made this into an owl, maybe sitting up in a tree branch or something. It just is a good way to kind of, you know, when you're uninspired, like I don't know what to create, sometimes this is a really good exercise to use. Just create some backgrounds, let all the colors kind of run, and then see if you see something. Like do a little cloud painting. Well, that's what we used to call it when we were kids. We're going to go paint the clouds. Lay back on your back. Look up at the sky. Don't look at the sun. Look at the clouds and see if you can see something. It was fun. And this is fun. It's really a great way to get loose. And it's also just a really good way of relaxing. You know, a lot of us that work like a real-time job, whether it's working around the house or working out in like some sort of corporate energy kind of thing, or working with other people that cause drama for your life and your work. This is really cool to just have a moment just to kind of doodle freely without like a big plan. So I like doing this a lot, just kind of running my pen up against the sidewall edge of where the color splits and does like some cool stuff. It just really takes on, and you can already see how this is starting to take on like a really pretty sky. It adds light, and you could do this with any other color. I just love how white performs with the colors that I have chose. And see, like even through here where the puppy dog once was, now that I have like reframed out like all of this color, I am starting to see something different. Like I could see like maybe an expression of like a guy's face. You maybe not see that, but I can see that. I can see like this right here kind of looks like a little hand. This looks like a little thumb. And you could maybe find some really cool expressions in your art. This is just a really fun way of creating. So give this a try. If you want to get all deep with it and everything, that's your business. But I just really want to make sure that I tell you that if you do find this to be more cathartic or even therapeutic, it's unlocked some stuff in your psychology and it's too difficult to deal with, make sure that you talk with some professionals. Maybe consider a professional that that you can talk easily with. Maybe it's your pastor or a prayer partner, someone that has some wisdom that wouldn't just, let you dangle with your issues and your hang-ups. So we all have things that probably want to keep us distracted, and it's very natural for anyone to have some serious even hang-ups that are hard to deal with, and sometimes you just need a moment to kind of catch a breath and make a plan with someone that has some experience. Okay. All right. So I've done my background. I could keep going and keep going and keep going, but I just want to kind of give you the tool, the technique, along with the tool that I'm using here is the Uniball. It is a Uniball Signo, and I get usually boxes of these in white because I go through them so fast. You can use Posca also. I definitely need to start buying those in quantity. You can use like a silver. This one is very much like the RSVP pen that I like from Pentel. But this is the metallic, and it's medium, and it's a gel pen, and they're very easy to get started because they're very similar to that RSVP pen. And the biro or biro, depending on what part of the planet you're from, the ball inside of there, it rolls very freely. So I really like these pens. Some people have their favorites. These are my favorites. I love an RSVP because I can get kind of detailed. So what I'm doing here is you can see like the three wise guys. They're holding the three wise men are holding their jars of they're holding their jars. So he has like a little jar. He has a little jar. He has like maybe a jar or a box, like a. So I'm imagining that his is probably like a little box, like a little treasure box of gold. Maybe his is gold. Maybe his is frankincense because it's smaller, and frankincense is a little bit more expensive than myrrh. So he probably has the myrrh because he has a bigger jar. And frankincense is very plentiful in Africa, Kenya. And so we don't know where he's from, but I would imagine because frankincense is so plentiful in that region that's probably where he's from. And then like the myrrh, and there's a little bit about the wise guys in the Bible. I don't know what the call out is, but they're basically, from what I understand, from what I have been told by my herbalist that I used to study with. She was a nun who was very, very versed in the Bible. She was a former Catholic nun, actually. She said that the wise men brought from their region their best gift for making sure that Jesus, the new Messiah, was going to have a long life, a healthy life, and a beautiful life, and a wealthy life. And so all of these things are the gold, the myrrh, and the frankincense. All of those, and this was what she had said, all of those were thought in those times to actually be almost like medicine for the wealthiest, for the wealthy people. So it may have been one of the reasons why through pop culture that that these guys were considered the three kings, even though they were not kings. They were actually kind of considered to be medicine men or wise men of their villages and their regions, and prophets. Some of them were seers and astrologers and scientists that just studied, but they were well aware and believers that of what was prophesied, that Jesus was going to be the Savior and the new answer for their for all their problems. Basically, you can read that in the Bible. But anyway, so that's my addition from my learning about the frankincense, the myrrh, and the gold. So you can, decorate with your pen. You could give them faces if you wanted to. I kind of really like their silhouette, not to have too much of an expression, but you can just kind of decorate wherever it is that you feel should be accentuated or decorated. And I'm keeping it super graphic, meaning that I'm not adding like a whole lot of feminine lines. I'm not adding like a whole lot of swirls. I'm not adding in like a lot of flowers. I'm keeping it very geometric, because with them being wise guys, wise men, they worked a lot with math and geometric shapes. So I'm just kind of keeping the tone kind of the same. And they probably weren't super wealthy, so their outfits were probably not as ornate as we see them in the Christmas cards. We always add our little adaptations to make them more pleasant to look at or whatever. But I just don't think that they probably had like a lot of brocades or lots of elaborate patterns to their wardrobe, because they probably weren't they probably didn't have as much wealth as we maybe once thought that they did. And patterns were usually reserved for for the respect of the wealthy or for very prominent figures. So they may have had a little bit of trimming on their robes, but their robes probably weren't like heavily tapestried or brocaded. So I'm not going to go into all that. That's just my spin on it. If you want to add like a lot of the brocades, then you probably can. But just like in our military, we still adopt the idea of rank of people. And so some people would have like braids and different trimmings on their uniform or what have you to denote their rank. So they probably had some, just probably not a lot. So I'm just going to leave a lot of that to your imagination. So again, your doodles may be very, very different, especially if you are following kind of like what we did up here in the headspace. If you're following along with wherever your colors have collided and separated, and you're just kind of adding in just a wiggle of the pen, that's naturally going to create some pattern that's real organic and super original. So it won't be something that like I would be able to create in mine. I could force out the design and copy what you've done, but it may not look, all that special if I'm not following the line already that's naturally in my color. Okay, so I'm happy with the way these guys are. I was using the silver pen. I could switch it over to the gold pen. I think what I might do is switch it over to, I have a silver marker. This is a Pentel. This is not Pentel. This is a medium point Pilot. This is very much like a Posca pen. So if I wanted to add in like a few extra little dots to go a little bolder, I think that's good. Our little theme this month is Inspired to Shine. So that's one of the reasons why I chose to do metallic pen on this design. And silver and gold look really good together, and so does copper. These come in like all different kinds of metallic colors. You can certainly use your gel pens that come in different metallic colors. Those would be very pretty. All right, so yellow on top of these colors really pop. So I may be using the yellow over here for the angel. Let's see. I'm going to test it just to see if I like it. I think I'll see how it goes. It may end up looking very lime green. And that's what it's starting to kind of look like. It looks a little lime green, so I think I'm going to go with the white. And pull out a new Posca pen. I mean, not Posca pen, Uniball. And I'm just going to make like a little outline in her little horn area. And then I am going to follow the line of my my design, because there are some different levels of intensity in the color here. Like there is an oval that is like really light color right here, so I'm just going to follow that around. There's like an oval or teardrop of a lighter color of intensity, and then there's a line right here, and I'm just going to force that line to come out. And then there's a darker line of intensity that's right here. And then there's also one right here. And there's like this little scalloping that kind of happens. And I just feel like I can pull that out real quick. And this kind of goes up here. And we have some more changes in the coloration right through here. And so her wings may be different than the wings that you have on the interior of the structure. Like this has all of these fun little blooms that's happening. And you just can't, you really cannot force the blooms. There's a lot that you can do to like move color around and to create some cells and different different kinds of blooms, but really it's just the way that the color settles into the paper. So her little wings are very different probably than yours, but I'm just, and you, like I said, you can copy what I'm doing, or you can play with what you have there. And you might just find that your design is way different, maybe even more attractive than what I have. There's like a whole lot of white marks right through here that did not seem to catch. That I'm gonna just use. And so our little tag along angel, so we have these guys that are tagging along with the little angel. I think I'm going to give her a little sleepy eye. I love a little sleepy eye angel. So she's very cute. And you don't have to draw on the face if you don't want to. I just decided that I'm going to give these little guys some eyes. Since I gave her some eyes, I'm going to give these guys some eyes. Oop. And I probably could have just left it alone, and I would have been very happy. I would have been very happy if I would have left alone. But sometimes you just get to going and then you can't turn back. And that's what's so fun about keeping these little journals, these little creative journals, is that you can use what you have here and you can repeat it, or you can repeat it and improve it, you know. It doesn't have to stay the same. So I am going to change up my my pen. I'm going to move over into this darker color, but this time I think I really want to add more darkness down below and more of that purpley color. So I'm using, this is one of those purples from the Dollar Tree. I think I got these probably in a stocking last year. And I don't know if they still have them there, but they're made by Jot, and you can find them at Dollar Tree. And they're very comparable to Sharpie, and they have a lot of juice. I wasn't really thinking that they were going to have that much juice in there, but they have been going and going and going. I took these with me. Our church recently was they had the foundation ready for the ladies to go and write prayers on the foundation, and I took these with me as my, because I wanted colored Sharpies. I knew that we were just really taking the black Sharpies for the ladies to use for writing prayers on the foundation. I wanted mine to have some little art to it because I knew we were going to probably take pictures and whatever. And so I took these with me, and I wrote on the pavement with this one, and I was really surprised. Usually whenever you write on coarse surfaces, the Sharpie will completely dull out. Like I have a Sharpie that is not in my box here, but it's one of those really big, broad Sharpies. And I use that in one of my folios to do outline work. One time in a folio that it was like a double 11 by 14, so it was two sizes side by side, and I used that one time, one afternoon, and the tip was completely destroyed after one outline, working it over the coarseness of paint. But these I was really surprised that these were pretty good. Like I said, I used them right on top of concrete. That was our foundation. So I am just, again, I'm just very quickly just taking like a little frame. I'm just like outlining and framing out some of the different blooms and patterns that the paint had there. Okay, I'm gonna use this. See, like this is a Sharpie, and I use Sharpie like it's going out of style. Keeping it really loose. I'm gonna use the back of my pen. When I use the back of my pen, I can go a little quicker and keep it more organic, more loose, like I'm using it kind of like a paintbrush. If I keep it too contrived and tight, it's kind of hard to get all of the little wiggles. And then your Sharpie will naturally do some, when you hold it like this, it will naturally do some wiggles and everything because you're going to bump around. All right, I think we're good. All right, so this is Tag Along Angel. I guess I could have named it a different way. Let's go up here and just add like a little bit. But I just liked that idea, Tag Along Angel. And someone had said, oh, are you going to do a tag? You know what? You could do a tag just like this. And you could actually shrink all this down. Take the silhouette and just do the silhouette in one color and do the background in, you know, whatever color. Maybe you're doing on silver tags, and then your background is just done in one pass of color. And you could make like little tags that were this size. You can just shrink this down and put that design right onto a tag. And you can put like your to and then the from down in the lower area. Anyway, I really hope that this was fun for you. I'm going to see if I want to add some pink to complement my other page. I hope this was fun for you. This was a lot of fun for me to do this one. And this is such a simple design that it's quick, you know, like a good journal page should be. It should be really quick and, you know, attainable for you to do like in a day. And even if you were having to wait for some of this to dry, so you have 2 days worth of fun. You have 2 days. You can spend 2 days on one little page and make it a work of art and also therapeutic all at the same time. All right. I like how that pink pops off of here. And of course, since I've got this pink over here on my other page that's going to go in that you have not seen yet, that is the donkey, it has lots of pink in it. So that really kind of balances out. Now I could go ahead and frame this out if I wanted to. I could go ahead and put like a really fancy frame around this. And what I mean by frame is I actually mean like a border. Just to kind of give this some idea that this is a separate photo or separate picture than what you're going to see on the other page, because this doesn't flow with the other page. So I'm just going to give it like a tiny bit of bordering and it just keeping it real geometric. Not anything super organic like swirls or flowers or anything. This piece of art, even though we're working with some different colors, kind of feels very masculine to me. Okay, but I love it. This was a whole lot of fun. I hope you enjoy it. I can't wait to see what you do with your silhouettes. I think that there'll be a whole lot of fun for you just to kind of create with. And you can create with them over and over. Maybe even do like a flip around, do like a little mirror image. Be a lot of fun to see. All right, guys. So I will see you again soon. This lesson only took about 50 minutes. This portion of the lesson only took about 50 minutes. So you can do it a whole lot faster because I'm not going to be talking to you while you're doing it. Okay.